So again, good morning. In our previous video, we will discuss about the standard-based curriculum development model. So now, we'll continue the discussions, which is to discuss the phase 1 to 3, the develop standards, develop benchmark, and develop final products inside and the standard-based curriculum development model. But before that, let's watch this video, which include in our discussion, which is the linear model of communication. So in this video, we will know about the different various model of communications. The first one is Aristotle model, Laswell model, is MCR model, and the last one is Shannon and Weber model. So in this video, we will explain the basic types of communications. So let's watch this. Just enjoy for watching.
Linear model of communication. So, being a communication student, you might have heard of various models of communication, like the Aristotle's model, SMCR model, and the Laswell's model, or even the Shannon and Weaver model. Wait, you are not a communication student? No worries at all. In this video, we will explain a basic type of communication model, that is, the linear model of communication. Long ago, when the concept of communication as a study was new to the world, linear model was the very first attempt of scholars to explain the process of communication. So the linear communication model was first introduced by Shannon and Weaver in 1949. In this model, the message travels one direction, which is why it is called linear, from the sender to the receiver. A source will take an idea, give it a meaning through words, and send it to a receiver through a channel. Once the message is sent, it is the receiver's job to extract the message out of it or to decode it. Now let's talk about the various components of linear model. Sender is the one who sends the message after encoding. Encoding is the process of converting the message into codes compatible with the channel and understandable for the receiver. Message is the information sent by the sender to the receiver. Channel is the medium through which the message is sent. Decoding is the process of changing the encoded message into understandable language by the receiver. Receiver is the person who gets the message after decoding. Noise is the disruptions that are caused in the communication process, in channel, or in understandability of the message. So just an example, during a seminar, the lecturer is the sender who encodes his messages, uses a microphone and a speaker to channel his words. You sitting at the last bench decode the message and act as a receiver. But sometimes unnecessary talking and gossiping leads to noise in the process and disrupts the communication. There are many types of models which come under this linear model of communication. They are Aristotle model. Aristotle's model is a linear communication model which was made for public speaking. In Aristotle's model, the speaker sent message and the audience received it. The model was made to establish a propaganda. Shannon-Weaver model. The Shannon-Weaver model of communication is a mathematical model used for technical communication or machine communication like telegraph or telephone. In Shannon-Weaver's model, if the channel does not have distorting elements or noise-producing elements, the communication is successful. Berlow's SMCR model. Berlow's model was made to understand general human communication. In Berlow's model, communication depends on many factors, like communication skills, attitude, knowledge, socio-cultural system, the way in which the message has been sent, the content of the message, senses of the receiver, etc. Pros and cons of linear model of communication. Pros. 1. This is very simple and an exact model. 2. It is good at persuasion and propaganda setting. 3. The speaker has the power to derive intentional results. Cons. world, since it is not clear in the world of internet as to who is the sender or the receiver. Due to many faults and non-applicability in many communication patterns, linear model of communication was not enough as a model. Hence, with time, changes were made and different structures were built. But linear model still stays as a base model for every communication form. So, here we come to the end of this boring lecture. Thanks for being a patient listener and a component of this linear communication we have now. But don't worry, we have the feedback channel in the comment section. Please do comment, like, and share our video. Don't forget to subscribe.
Okay, that's all for today's video. That's all about linear model of communication. So, according to the video, learner communication is one of the example of communications to give is seminar, which is we have sender and the receiver, such as the speakers are the sender and the receiver are the audience or the participants inside and the seminar. So we have four communications model. The first one is, according to the video, Aristotle model, Shannon-Weber model, Berlow's communication model, and pros and cons explains pros and cons communications model. So now let's talk about the three phases of standard-based curriculum development model. So first one, phase 1, develop standards. Develop a comprehensive set of contents. Standards using multiple sources. Refine the comprehensive list by eliminating and combining. Secure teacher input to identify teacher priorities. Use data to develop final draft of standards divided into essential standards and enrichment standards. So in the phases 1, the development standard, we need to be creative. We need to use internet connections. Then we need to use a lot of materials that could be our students satisfied in our discussions. So that is according in our phase number 1, to develop the standards or to meet the want of our student for what we want to happen in our student after the teachings or after our discussions. So let's move on to the phase 2. Develop benchmark. Review decisions about content emphasis. So as a teacher, we need to review all the things, all the materials that we put in our discussion. Identify standard for continuing development standards that will not be benchmark. Decide how benchmark will be identified by task or by teachers. Develop essential draft of benchmark evaluating which criteria provided, and secure teacher review revise benchmark if needed. So benchmark is so very important because benchmark is used to improve, to refine, and to validate curriculum standard. Is equally a good practice and curriculum development. So it is very helpful in our teaching. Of course, to be the curriculum guide has been productive to our student. And then the last one is the phase 3, develop final product. So in develop to our final product, use standard and benchmark to produce scope and sequence chart. Decide on curriculum guide content, analyze benchmark into learning objectives. So as a teacher, to have a good productive output, productive teaching to our student, we need to use benchmark strategy to produce scope and sequence charts. Decide on curriculum guide content. So we are all basis in our curriculum. Even sometimes when in curriculum we cannot follow all, but we are only base and curriculum guide. Analyze benchmark into learning objectives. So our benchmark is to turn on into learning objectives, which can be helpful not for our teaching but for the overall knowledge of our student. If what they achieve after the discussion, if what they achieve after the class, if they are going out or going to catch up the discussions coming from the teachers. So that's all for today's video. So I hope you have a lot of learns So thank you so much and God bless.